Hey guys, my name's Chris, and I am your dad next door. Thanks for checking out my channel here today in this video. I know I was a little delayed on content last week, so we're just going to get right rolling into this new week's edition and just get everything pushed out for you guys. So I appreciate your time. We'll get going. First thing on my list here is the my YouTube channel of the week. This is Dry Bar Comedy, and this is an excellent source of clean comedy that's very family friendly. You know, it's something that I just kind of catch myself sitting in bed at night, you know, with my phone, trying to wait until I get ready to kind of fall asleep, and this channel comes up in my feed, and I take a look at their couple of their videos, and I'm just rolling laughing. It's a great source to be able to, and you can listen to it anywhere. It's not offensive, it's not vulgar, it's not anything like that, so you're still able to play it in public and with the kids around and stuff like that. It doesn't get out of hand. You know, it's an excellent source. They got some very, very good, I don't even want to call them amateur comedians, but, you know, just some I guess mid-level, I don't know, not professional, right, like the Apollo, but, you know, it's just really good. They travel around the country. They actually have tours that they go on with different comedians and stuff like that. But so definitely, if you're interested in comedy, this is a great little channel to check out. They got a ton of content on there, ton of videos, and already 500,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this, you may already have seen one of their videos before. So definitely check them out if you can. Dry Bar Comedy. Now jumping over to the technology side, we're looking at the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo's announcement about the Nintendo Switch Lite. This, to me, is something that is a great move by Nintendo and something that's been a long time coming. It's something that they've really needed to pursue. The 3DS is is starting to age. The Game Boy style of game is really starting to phase out. And by Nintendo redesigning this Switch to have the ability to play the same games that the full-sized Nintendo Switch does and transfer saves and all these other kind of things that they're able to do, this is a really smart move. I think Nintendo has been doing a really good job ever since they introduced the Wii, which is kind of sitting down here behind me, right? Ever since they've introduced the Wii, they've been doing a really good job at rebranding themselves for really family-friendly and simple multiplayer game environments. And with that, they've also been able to bring in a couple of blockbuster developers to provide major games for their old school titles. I've seen Mario Maker 2, I think is what it is, the official title for that. That's a really neat game, a lot of fun, very sandbox-esque that you can work with and do different things with. They have, the Zelda platform that came out for Switch. They've got a lot of things going for them, and I think they're doing a really good job at their backwards compatibility for some of their older systems, you know, bringing those into the digital market and re-releasing those titles for the Switch, so that way you can get the nostalgia factor and not have to own multiple systems like you did in the past. Nintendo again, they've got a great foothold. They're doing really well. I think this is a good move for them. Switch Lite, take a look at it. I bet come release, this is going to be whatever year it comes out. I didn't even see when they released it. Let me scroll through this article real quick and see. Let's talk $200. So you're looking at potentially September 2019. Potentially buy in September 2019. So we're looking at September 2019. I bet this is going to be a huge Christmas item this year, and Nintendo's planning that well. I can almost guarantee this thing will not be able to be found come Christmas time, and it's just going to be sold flying off the shelves. The Switch did the same thing. Nintendo's been doing really good market research for that, and they've been doing really good with their release dates. I'm going to look into it, and I only own the original Wii, and I've been looking at getting a Switch, but I just haven't really wanted to spend that $300 price. If you bring it down to $200, it kind of puts it a little more in grasp. So I'm excited about it as well. I like the handheld gaming environment. I think it's a lot of fun. So we'll see where that goes. So first article this week we have on the docket is Ford's collaboration with Volkswagen to enhance their AI technologies for both of the manufacturers. Essentially, Ford has this company called Argon AI that they've been in the process of working with and trying to really enhance their autonomous vehicle market. And 2 weeks ago, I had a big article on the improvements and the changes that autonomous vehicles are going to have in the whole automotive industry, right? So with this, Ford is really trying to get ahead of the game. They're really trying to step up and show that they want to be interested, like Tesla and other manufacturers that are trying to implement this technology. And Volkswagen's gotten on the same level. Blah, that didn't come out right. And Volkswagen's gotten on the same level. So what they're trying to do here is Volkswagen actually has a very strong EV platform that they're developing, and then Ford has this AI technology. And through this collaboration effort, what they're trying to do is trying to get something to where both the automotive manufacturers can have something that's together, and it takes less design work. It's something very similar Ford has done in the past when they've had a lot of Mazda makeover vehicles, and other manufacturers, Subaru and Toyota did the Scion vehicle. Toyota and BMW did the Supra, the new Supra lineup that's out, right? A lot of manufacturers have done things like this in the past, but this is the first time we've seen it where, an AI and an EV market kind of come together in this effort, and it's actually a really good thing. What the big thing of these EV cars and this AI technology that's going around right now is that they're very independent per manufacturer. So Tesla has their own system, they have their own code, they have, when you're talking about an autonomous vehicle, right? They have everything is designed by Tesla, whereas these other manufacturers are kind of going through the same process, and there's no sharing, there's no collaboration, there's no standardization of what the vehicle needs to be. And that's going to become further on down the line, that's going to become a big issue from a maintenance perspective in the industry. Right now, you have a mechanic, and as long as the mechanic understands the make of a vehicle, or not even the manufacturer make, but as long as a mechanic has good understanding of what a combustion engine does, he has the ability to roll through and kind of work on almost any vehicle, right? All of them have their own nuances, and they can kind of get around, but a mechanic is kind of well inclined to understand what's going on, whereas in this EV and AI market, it's very specific to each manufacturer. All the platforms are different. Wiring systems are different. The way the batteries are designed are different. Where everything's placed is different. And it's a lot harder from a maintenance perspective to kind of try and understand where you want to go with that. So I'm very happy that Ford and Volkswagen are doing this. Not my top two manufacturers, but they're putting forth a really good effort to make this happen, and I want to see it continue to go on. I'm very excited about electric vehicles. I kind of had a discussion, I think I talked about electric vehicles 2 weeks ago, about the effect that they're going to have on the combustion market in the near future, and what I think that's going to do and how I think that's going to have a overall economic impact. But if I didn't, I'll find a way to touch on that in the future. But anyways, check out this article, cranesdetroit.com. It's a great read. Kind of roll through it. It's a little high level, just about the whole deal and everything like that. But there's a couple other key points that you can pick up on there and do some additional googling and get some information from that. Link and description of the video will be down in the description of this video. Link and description of the article will be down in the description of this video. Now we have the closing of the 2-year battle between Google and Amazon for digital media market. So far, basically, Google and Amazon since around 2017 have been in this dispute of basically since Google Home had started competing with the Echo, Amazon pulled Google Home products from their store. If you haven't noticed and you've ever tried to go on Amazon, you look up Google Hub or Google Mini or any of those kind of things, they're just not available on Amazon. They're completely blocked. Chromecast, another one, completely blocked offline or off of Amazon, which to me was a kind of a good move for Amazon, but it was also a great move for Walmart to start their 2-day shipping product line and provide those products as well. Kind of a double positive for both of those companies. I think that hurt Amazon. Yeah, anyway, that's another article for another time. But they're finally bringing this whole debate or this whole dispute to close. What was happening is since Amazon had stopped selling Google home automation products, Google had decided to remove all Amazon video software from its devices. So you were no longer basically anything on a Chromecast or anybody using a Chromecast or Google TV, Android TV, then they would not be able to stream Amazon Fire TV or movies or any of that kind of stuff. Any content that they had purchased on it, digital content they had purchased on Amazon, they would not be able to stream through those devices. Well, they finally agreed to bring that to a close, and Amazon Fire apps will start coming back out and being able to be cast to Google devices. Amazon still has not released that they're going to provide Google home automation products, but they are now selling, to my understanding, they are now selling Nest products, which should be a little interesting to see what happens during Prime Day and everything with the new Nest product line that's coming out. And we'll see where that goes from there. But anyways, this is a great thing for consumers. A big issue I have at home, I have a lot of Google products here, Chromecasts and hubs and minis and all that kind of stuff, and they're all synced together. I don't have any Amazon products here. I just didn't get into it when it started. Somebody got me a Google Mini, so I just kind of branched out from there. And so when I went to watch Amazon TV, I had to have a computer to do it. I had to have a PC in front of me, or I had to use my home theater PC or something. I couldn't go in my bedroom and hook up my Chromecast and just cast it. To use my phone even or something like that, right? So this is a big thing where I think Amazon will be able to better utilize its Fire TV or Prime Video. I've been saying Fire TV the whole time. It's Prime Video titles and be able to branch out and do more streaming and viewing of those. So this is a good move. I agree with it. I think they're doing a really good job here. I would really like to see these two tech companies kind of work a little bit better together. I know they're inherently separated, but it's kind of something that I would like to see kind of close out and them to end all these battles and just kind of let the market do its own thing as far as these product lines have. So, but anyways, that's a good one. I will, again, this one's by CNBC. The article read is actually pretty well written. It's a little short, but it's very well written. Take a look at it. Again, link will be in the description of the video. Now, the last article I'm going to provide here is probably the most controversial when we're talking about, the pay gap for genders, right? It's something that's been a hot topic in professional work relationships or professional work environments for about 2 or 3 years now. It's becoming more and more a media sensation to have these discussions, and it's pretty interesting, right? I went through and I read this article, right? It says 60% of tech workers told not to discuss their pay, making gender gap harder to spot, and that's a really alluring, or to me that's a misleading title, and I apologize. I'm not going to say that the gender pay gap doesn't exist in some scenarios, right? I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, because you can't say that, because we know that there are people out there who mistreat genders from both sides, right? So let's just agree on that, and then we'll go through the rest of this article. The way this survey was done is they blindly went through and surveyed 5,149 people. So 5,149 people between 19 top tech companies of the current era, right? And if you go down through the article, they actually provide the results of I apologize. They actually provide the results of those surveys. And in this, they don't tell you, one thing they don't do is they don't say if they equally surveyed the same number of people per company, and they don't say what genders were surveyed during this. So it's kind of a little, having some more of that information might be beneficial, right? Was it 50% male, 50% female? Was it the same number per company, or did one company have more, etc., right? There's some things in there that I would like to see more of, but I haven't been able to find yet. But it just kind of goes through and says, like PayPal, Intel, Cisco, right? These top 5 that I'm looking at here, Oracle and eBay are the top 5 companies that say you should not share your current wage. And this is an interesting topic, because I would agree. If you are an environment, a professional environment, I don't want to say professional because that even sounds off. If you are in an environment where your value to the company is judgmental, right? You're not on a set pay scale where you start out at $10 an hour. Obviously, I'm making up numbers here, right? You start out at $10 an hour, and every year you get a 50-cent raise. right? And the only way you don't get that 50-cent raise is if you perform below certain standards or something like that, right? But you still have an opportunity for a 50-cent raise every year for the entirety of your duration of the company, right? When you have a very set pay scale, then you can make that claim. Then you could say, well, you're seeing a very high number of a specific gender is being told that they're not performing to the standard, so you're reducing their wages in order to do that. It's an opportunity for you to take the opportunity to do that. In other situations, when you're talking about salary-based positions that have varying opportunities for financial compensation per year, you don't know that just because somebody that has been in a position, even for the same amount of time as you, should make the same amount of money as you. There may be two totally different sides to that in concerns of one person has substantially, even though you could both contain the exact same title, one person could have substantially more responsibility on project load or on level of responsibility or different things like that, where they're taking opportunities, they're taking more risks, they're providing more results, and you may not be, right? And so I think if you go into this idea of providing transparency for all wages throughout a company, then you really put yourself in a tricky situation. And if you scroll down here, there's a whole bunch of information in this article. But if you scroll down here it talks about how being open about your salary is actually protected by law, which is fine. A company can't fire you for telling other people and getting together and talking about your salaries and things. But down in the almost at the end of this, right, it was this sentence here that really caught my attention, and it really kind of put a splinter under my fingernail and really annoyed me. It says, "I believe the full transparency is the ultimate solution to eliminating the gender pay gap." And I 100% disagree with that statement, right? Full transparency from an employee level is only going to cause dissension between employees, because at that point you're no longer talking about a gender issue, you're talking about a performance issue, because you could have 2 male employees, 2 female employees, you could have a male or female in any scenario. When one that has worked there longer finds out that somebody that has worked there less makes more money, what is that going to do? Nobody's going to be happy about that. Nobody's going to be like, oh, okay, it's okay that... So, I'm trying to think of a name. John Doe. Just because John has only been at the company for 6 months, right, and I've been here for 10 years, and John makes more money than me, but I've only got a bachelor's degree, and John has a PhD, right? We don't know that John isn't getting substantially harder projects. John isn't getting a whole lot of different things. His workload is entirely different. I mean, in some teams you're going to know, right? I'm going to work alongside John, and I'm going to look and I'm going to say, hey, he's really not worth as much as me, right? And it's only going to cause this dissension, and it's only going to cause confusion between team members, right? And that's where you get into that scenario. Again, if you have a very standardized pay scale, I think some government style positions have a very standard, like here's 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, 20 year, right? They have a very standard scale on how your raises are done and things like that. If you have that type of setup, sure, this is what should be done. Transparency makes sense because you can say, I've been here 10 years, this is where I should be, why am I not, right? But when you're talking about a totally performance-dependent type system, you got to be very, very careful. And I think anybody who's interested in this kind of idea should read this article, because it's very aggressive. It's very, I'm going to be blunt, it's kind of catered towards men, right, being not fair. But beside the point, again, I'm not denying that the gender gap can exist in certain situations. But I don't know, I'm going to let you read it and find out for yourself. I'm going to provide a link. I want somebody to read this article. I need somebody to read this article and provide comments and feedback to me on it, because I want to know what others think about this, and I want to see and hear other people's feedback. Like I said, that splinter under the fingernail was just something kind of that kind of popped in my head, and I want to make sure that it's not just eating me up. I actually need to unhighlight that because it's kind of irritating me. So, but yeah, that's this article. Again, this was produced by Forbes. I'm going to provide the information again in the description of this video. All my links will be there. So check that one out. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my video this week. I hope the content that I provided to you was beneficial and that that it was something that you'd like to hear or read up or study up on. If there's anything you want me to add or provide or do more with these videos or articles or anything like that, please provide comments. Please provide feedback. I'm looking to provide what you guys want to have researched so that way I can provide that. Also, any of this stuff that I talked about today and you want to have additional information or you want to have some discussion on that, please provide it in the comments. Or you guys can always check me out on my Twitch. Come and chat in there. I stream every Tuesday from 7 to 11 or so. So you feel free, more than willing to come in there and chat with me on any of these topics or any of these discussions. I'm always open to do that. And with that, that's going to end the weekly news for this week. And I hope to hear from you all again next week. Thanks for watching. Also, before I forget, please, if you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down. If you didn't, especially if you didn't like it, if you like it, great. If you didn't like it, tell me why. I would rather have a comment from you with a thumbs down than, nothing at all. I want to know what's going on and what you're thinking, okay? Appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to have more real-time information coming or live updates. Again, I'm producing these weekly, so if you want to get those results when they're coming out or you want to get that update via email or notification, that's the opportunity to do it. Appreciate your time.